What do you say to the doctors when they ignore the fact that you're hurting?
Crap on they.
What would you say to them?
Fuck off.
Would you?
I would. Would I, darling? I'd just say fuck off, wouldn't I?
What would you like the doctors to do about your painful tummy?
Sort me out, shouldn't they?
They should sort you out.
Should make sure it's okay. Should then, shouldn't they?
Yes, they should. And they will, because we're going to push them into it, okay?
Thank you, darling.
That's all right.
Much better, isn't it, darling?
We'll wait for the doctor to get here.
Sweet, darling.
All right.
Thank you, darling.
All right. Okay.
Right, do you want my hand again?
What do you want me to do with that? All right.
Just want to kiss it, didn't I, darling?
All right, then. Right. Oh my God. Look, they put it on, it's even stuck to the pad. It's not even covering, I know.
You should have your dressing on top,
Yeah.
not just a big lump of sticky.
Who's Richard?
He's my brother,
He's your brother, yes. Who's Rowena?
my sister.
Do you ever see them?
Not really.
Why?
Sod's law again, isn't it, darling?
Yes, it is. Why do you think they don't come and see you?
Sod's law again, isn't it, darling?
It is, yes.
Seems with them, doesn't it?
Yeah. You would like to see them, wouldn't you?
Would then, wouldn't I?
Do you think you would like to?
Would then, wouldn't I, darling?
I think you would, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Anything,
Mm-hmm.
Sod's law, that's all. Keep about something. Talking about that.
Is that right?
That she should be tried into sloppy. That's out hot, and shouldn't I?
Yes. Yeah. I'm not sure what you're saying, but I think you know. You just find it difficult with words.
Do then, do you, darling?
But at least you're happy,
Yes,
aren't you?
I am,
Yeah.
darling.
Do you like to live?
Do then. I'm much better,
Or,
thank you, darling.
yes. Or would you like to die?
No, I would not.
Okay. What would you say to the doctors if they told you you must die?
Sod's laws, aren't they, darling?
They are.
Yeah.
What would you tell them?
Fuck off.
Would you?
Yes.
Okay. Because you want to live, or
Yes.
because you want to die?
No,
Which?
she wants to live as well.
Exactly. Okay. And you will.
Alice, and this is news time. What you're about to hear is shocking, and viewer discretion is advised. I can say with all honesty that I consider the post office scandal to be a teddy bear's picnic compared to this bulletin. A Gloucestershire man is campaigning for justice for his wife, Lucy Meseros. Mike says that his wife, Lucy, was subjected to neglect paramount to abuse in Gloucester and Cheltenham hospitals over a period of 8 years. He alleges that her death in December 2023 was a direct result of medical neglect. Mike added that Gloucestershire Constabulary are acting as guardian angels for the NHS and have taken out a civil court case in Gloucester County Court to prevent him from further identifying who he alleges are responsible for Lucy's death. Mike had posted many recordings to social media that he says evidenced the barrage of hostility that he and Lucy were subjected to, simply for complaining about poor care from some staff at the two hospitals. Our team of investigative journalists have taken an in-depth look at Mike's Facebook page, Carers Want Competence. And we're horrified to see what we can only describe as irrefutable evidence of the absolutely horrific neglect of Lucy Meseros. Our team also watched a video of Lucy's funeral, where Mike described to the attendees just how his wife had suffered at the hands of some of Cheltenham district nurses and other individual health and care professionals, including ward sisters from a ward in Cheltenham General Hospital and a Cheltenham-based care company who used feces-soiled gloves to place medication in his wife's mouth. Mike says there are also videos on the internet of these care workers stirring Lucy's food with the same feces-soiled gloves. Lucy died not long after. What follows is a video that may be upsetting for some viewers, but as Mike says, it's important for the public to know about what happened, and I raise awareness and publish this kind of content in public interest, to detect and report crimes against others and for the safety of other vulnerable, disabled and elderly people. He added, other families of vulnerable hospital patients and people whose relatives have been abused by domiciliary care workers have contacted me to tell of instances of poor care from some of the same perpetrators that neglected and abused my own wife. I think everybody would agree wholeheartedly that Mike has an extremely valid point. Here is the video of Mike's speech at Lucy's funeral.
Okay, Jan might have to take over, but I'm sorry this isn't the usual kind of service, but most of you know how transparent I am anyway. Lucy had MS, but that isn't what caused her death. I went to see Lucy before we came back to the house with her. This is me, you know, very raw. There was no lid on or anything. Had to explain to her what was going to happen. Because, as you know, she was vulnerable and she was like a child. Probably think it's a bit weird that I've been going to see her while she's been deteriorating after so many weeks, but the feelings I had for Lucy it wasn't like a wife. There were problems years ago. Although we stayed married, the marriage had been over, that kind of it. But to me,
what are you doing?
She was like a vulnerable young child who needs reassuring, comforting and protecting. She didn't have anybody else in the world who would look after her.
That's enough.
And I had to go and see her earlier, basically to lay her to
That's
rest.
enough. Shadow!
She even has a fluffy pink blanket, colourful socks on to keep her warm, a nice plait in her hair. I think Laura may have done that, Jan, bless her. And a few sentimental things that she treasured in her coffin. Anyway, since 2013, Lucy had untreated kidney stones, stomach ulcers and a fistula. And here I am, transparent. There was a chain of linked and untreated medical complications that led to a death. I'm still fighting with the coroner for an inquest, and I will fight. And this is where it gets raw. Cheltenham district nurses used black and mouldy bowel irrigation equipment for 8 months without changing a bag on Lucy. After that, she had urosepsis 35 times, minimum. It was frequently disregarded because Lucy was asymptomatic and she didn't show the clinically expected symptoms. So it would go on for weeks before she finally did get treatment. And although the GP acknowledged that Lucy had a high resistance to oral antibiotics, they were always the first course of action. A bit critical, hypocritical. So sometimes having 6 or 7 different types over 2 or 3 months that never resolved it anyway. So then it would escalate to infection-induced seizures, strokes, heart attacks, even a cardiac arrest. And each time it caused a decline in a cognitive impairment, leaving with a kind of dementia. And regardless of Lucy's baseline, medical professionals, especially the district nurses from Cheltenham, tried everything to pin it on the MS. Kept saying it's in Lucy's best interest not to treat her for what was causing the urosepsis. Hospital doctors, Cheltenham and Gloucester, authorised several covert do not resuscitate decisions behind my back, knowing that I'm power of attorney. But Lucy was much stronger than they assumed, and she did recover, always. A few weeks before Lucy died, and within hours, after Lucy's carer of 3 or 4 years had complained about district nurses, they told the GP that Lucy didn't need bowel care anymore, and they refused to do it, even though she'd be crying out in excruciating pain. Apparently, after 8 years, it had miraculously resolved itself. Now, I wasn't there when Lucy died. Some of you will have read why, some of you already know. But I fought for over 10 years with everything I had to stop the care system from failing her. And the hospital's legal department often tried to silence me. They're still trying to now. If I had stopped fighting for her, and if I hadn't have fought for her, she would have been dead a long time ago. And I've often asked myself the question, did I do the right thing by fighting? Yeah, I did, because she would have been gone. They used her as a punch bag, and it'll get a little bit better in a minute, in an attempt to discredit and prevent me from publicly exposing poor treatment and care, not just of Lucy, but of other disabled and elderly people
Shadow!
that I work
Get
with
off.
on a daily basis. I would travel throughout. I wasn't long ago in Sheffield with a family. This is what I do. I had to know what happened as Lucy died, and if she was in pain because I wasn't there. So I looked back on the CCTV, and it took her over an hour and 20 minutes of choking, as she called her phrase. Sod's law, isn't it, darling? She didn't seem like she was in pain. That's kind of a blessing. Lucy's cognitive impairment made it difficult for her to experience pain, which in turn made it difficult for medical professionals to acknowledge it. But it also made everything else difficult for her to process in the way that we would process things especially at times of the sepsis infection. Sometimes she'd refuse to eat, drink, take her medication, have her teeth brushed, and she'd be asking, yes, but why? Why do I? Like a toddler, that you know they need to do something and they don't really want to do it. But in anybody with any cognitive or dementia, whatever, if you show the patience and take the time to explain, they usually grasp the concept and they'll do what you want them to do within reason, without causing any fuss. And the only way I can describe how I feel is as if I've lost a vulnerable young child, because to me, that's what she was to me. She wasn't, it wasn't like Lucy was my wife, you know, that had gone years ago, but I cared for her as if she was. And I feel as if I've been forcibly held down and made to watch as my child has been abducted and brutally tortured. Lucy's death would have been easier to cope with if she hadn't been so vulnerable and childlike. She was extremely social. She still had a sense of humour, a highly infectious laugh, impeccable manners. She would even thank doctors when they were sticking a cannula in or any painful procedures. It would be, thank you, darling. Sod's Law was a stock phrase, and even some of the carers, I can't do that. I'm nearly finished. Can we pause on that? No, let's just turn the volume down a bit. Lucy was quite comical. When our GP used to come to the house, she would say, come here, darling, I want to tell you something. She'd hold his face and kiss him on the cheek, and he'd go a beetroot colour every time. Lucy would watch Mary Poppins over and over again, with a massive smile on her face. And if we put School of Rock on, she'd sit there, glued to the TV, oblivious to everything, her mouth and eyes wide open, waiting for the next song. Some nights she'd lie awake, so I'd have to make up short bedtime stories or tell her jokes and say, Lucy, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. You need to close your eyes. Go back to sleep before your mum gets home. And she'd say, is it? Sod's Law. And I'd say, yes, snug as a bug. And she'd finish it by saying, in a bloody rug, isn't it, darling? She'd close her eyes and be fast asleep in no time at all. So, Lucy, it's the middle of the night. Close your eyes, dream about your ponies. You can rest. Good night, Smile.